Let's get going. Ladies and gentlemen from across the globe, my name is Sean Cornett, National Consultant, coming to you here from my office in St. Louis, Missouri. It's my incredible honor to bring a guest from halfway across the globe this evening. A good friend of mine that I've come to really enjoy hanging out with and respect as a leader and as an individual who's achieved just an incredible amount of success in this business. He's a Pure Energy Award winner, executive consultant, and he is now hailing, instead of from the middle of nowhere, Texas, he is in the middle of all the action in Osaka, Japan. Yes. Jordan, are you with us? Can you hear me?
I'm right here, Sean. Thanks for having me on.
Fantastic. Let me switch the screen over to you. I forgot to do that, and I usually forget that every week. All right. You are on the big screen, my friend. Take it away.
All righty. Thanks, Sean. Well, guys, I appreciate everybody having me on today. I'm really fired up to be the special guest on EGR Live. You know, there are a bunch of incredible people that get on here and share information with you guys every week, thanks to Sean and Damien putting this incredible broadcast together. So I can tell you, I've gotten a lot of value out of it. Being in Japan, it's nice to be able to see my friends like Tony Procopio and Kenny Smith and all my good friends that are making a ton of money back in the States get on here and do the EGR Live. And if you think about it, there are a lot of people in Japan right now that have the opportunity to watch this video live. So this is funny because we're streaming from Osaka, Japan into the computer. I'm streaming to all you guys back in the United States. But in addition to that, it's going to be able to stream to people all over Japan as well, so they can watch it live or they can watch the replay. So it is exciting. You know, Sean talking about us building a global international business is absolutely mind-boggling to me. You know, if you told me a few years ago that I'd be in this position, I would have told you you were probably crazy. But with that, I'm going to get started with a little piece of my story, kind of how I got involved with Ambit Energy. And then I actually want to kind of jump into some cool things that I've got here, especially for you in Japan. I've got a really great view of Osaka I'm going to show you. And I've also got some Japanese energy bills. So I'm going to show you some of that action today. So again, my name's Jordan Buckingham. When I found out about Ambit Energy, I was serving tables at Joe's Crab Shack. I brought people their food. My dad called me one day and said, son, I found something that's going to make us a lot of money. He'd made a lot of money in his life, so I listened to him. And I got started. In the beginning, guys, it wasn't super crazy fast for me, but I did promote to regional, then senior, like you saw in the EGR video while I was still in college. At first, it was just a couple extra $100 a month in income around my school schedule. And then I graduated from college with $75,000 in student debt. I came out of college. A lot of kids get to go to Europe. They get to go do something fun. But because I had this mounting student debt and I really didn't have a lot of money at all from being in college, I didn't have the opportunity to go do that. So I graduated on Friday and I went to work on Monday, and I started working 60 hours a week as a petroleum engineer. So it didn't take too long for me to figure out that I didn't want that to be my life forever. I don't know if you've ever had any sort of debt in your life or if you've ever worked those kind of hours, but I kind of felt like I had an elephant sitting on my chest. You know, it was just this situation where I kind of felt like an indentured servant. Like I had all this debt that I had to go pay back, and I was doing this job that I didn't really like. So I had one solution and I had one outlet, and that was Ambit Energy. So I just started working at 5 or 10 hours a week, saying, you know, it's worked for other people. They've gotten to executive. They've become successful. If they can do it, so can I. So I started building my business on a part-time basis. I was able to buy my first home, beautiful place in Texas, and the first mortgage payment that I ever made in my life and all the expenses associated with my new home, I paid with the part-time money that I made in Ambit Energy that month. Fast forward 24 months, I completely annihilated that $75,000 in student debt, and I paid it off. And at that point, I was looking at my Ambit income, and I was looking at my bills, and I was like, oh my God, this could actually be a freedom vehicle for me if I would treat it even more seriously. So I upped my game. I went from 5 or 10 hours a week to starting working 10 or 15 hours a week around my 60-hour-a-week work schedule. But guys, it paid off. That original $200 or $300 a month that I was making turned into $200 or $300 a week, then $2,000 or $3,000 a month, and then it turned into $2,000 or $3,000 a week part-time, and I was financially free. So at 28 years old, I got to sign a resignation letter on my 6-figure income as a petroleum engineer to follow my bliss and build my Ambit Energy business full time. And that's why I'm here delivering to you. I'm from Osaka, Japan. So, I mean, I don't know where you're at in your life, but I can tell you, you probably had it better than me. I was a broke college student with no influence with anybody in his life. I had no money, and I lived in an area where you couldn't even be an Ambit Energy customer. Okay, so if I can succeed, you definitely can too. So before I get into the actual talk on Japan and Ambit Energy, I want to show you Japan. I'm here, and this is cool. So I'm going to go ahead and flip my camera around. Hopefully I stay good here. I'm going to try to do it slowly so that you guys don't get the crazy effect. But here we are in Osaka, Japan. It's crazy, right? Now think about this. When I'm here at night, this literally keeps me up at night, and I know Sean will be laughing at me. But guys, all I see is lights and lights and lights. Millions and millions of lights. I mean, the populations here are absolutely incredible. The amount of people and the amount of energy bills that are being paid is absolutely off the chain. So hopefully you guys got to see a pretty good little view of Osaka there. I'm going to jump back into my ward. There we go. Thanks for being patient with that. My camera will probably need to readjust to me. So let me see where I'm at. Sean, did my thing go a little wiry here? Let me see. Okay, I guess I'm good. All right, so I'm back. So I've got some more cool information for you. The first thing that I want to show you is a Japanese energy bill, and then we're going to talk about all this stuff. So this is a Japanese energy bill. It looks a lot like the ones back in the United States. It's really not too complex. I mean, besides the fact that it's all in Japanese, you know. But I want to show you something unique on this bill, and then we're going to start talking about the Ambit Energy market. So I wanted to do this because it really brings a tangibility and a reality to what we do. Guys, this is as simple as Ambit Energy is. This person lives in the Hokuriku market. They have the opportunity to choose a new energy supplier in Japan now. There are millions and millions and millions of these floating out there. In fact, here's another one from Fukuoka. Millions and millions and millions of these sent out every single month. And they now have the opportunity to choose a new retail energy supplier. The same thing is happening all over the world. All right, so you've got the same opportunity in the United States. So here's basically the global overview of Ambit Energy and why I believe that any person who's seeing this live right now and anybody that sees the replay over the next few weeks should definitely get involved with this thing. So Ambit Energy started in 2006. They started in just the state of Texas. The way the deregulation happened in the United States, it went piece by piece, state by state, as new deregulation opportunities became available, okay? So ultimately, we are now in 16 states, over 90 different electricity and natural gas markets across the U.S. We've got access to about 72 million potential customers in the U.S., and we've become a billion-dollar company with over 1 million happy energy customers, okay? So if you think about it, Ambit Energy has picked up a percentage point of the market where we're currently operating, but we're still way less than 3%, way less than 2% of market penetration inside of the United States. Now, with the addition of Japan, we're looking at over 80 million new potential customers, okay? Literally doubling the size of our potential footprint. So if Ambit Energy picked up 1.2 million customers, 1.3 million customers, went to over $1 billion in revenue inside of the United States, and they did that with systematic expansion over the territories that we're currently in, what do you think is going to happen when they bust open a brand new 80 million potential customer market? Well, I can tell you what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to go absolutely out of control, insane. Okay, I think we're going to be picking up customers left and right. I think we're going to be picking up consultants all over the country of Japan. And I think these people are going to use this as a financial vehicle to get to where they want to be financially free in their life and in the universe. Okay, so what does that mean for you and everybody on this broadcast? Well, it means a few things. Number one, it looks like Ambit Energy's revenues are going to start going through the roof. All right, so I don't expect us to stay at $1 billion company. I believe we could potentially double in revenue over the next 3 or 4 years, which would be absolutely amazing, going from where we are now at 1.2 billion up to over $2 billion in revenue. I definitely see that happening. In addition, you're going to see a lot of people making a lot of money in Japan in a brand new market, okay? So I want to talk about that a little bit, and then we'll kind of close it up. But the way that Ambit Energy got into the United States market, they started in just Texas, and then they expanded into other states, like I said. But you need to understand something about Texas, and Sean and Damien and all my friends definitely understand this. The entire state of Texas wasn't available for service. There are some really big pockets in Texas that you can't actually be an Ambit Energy customer. Austin, Texas being one of those. San Antonio, Texas being another one of those. And those are million-plus population centers that can't actually be an Ambit customer because they are co-ops, you know, so they weren't actually deregulated. So only about 70% of the customers in Texas can actually even choose a new supplier. And that's kind of seen in other markets as well across the United States. In addition, you've got a massive land mass that this 72 million potential customers is spread out across. So we are still picking up massive market share. We're still picking up tons of customers in the United States. People are still making millions of dollars in the United States, and they still will for the next 10 or 20 years because we haven't even tapped that opportunity. But I want you to think about this for a second. Ambit Energy, when it got into Japan, they opened the entire country from Hokkaido, which is the top of the country, to Kyushu, which is the bottom of the country. The only exception being Okinawa. Okay, so when we open this market, we're looking at about 84 million potential customers, number one, but it's stacked into a spot about the size of California, and they're deregulating the entire country all at once instead of piece by piece. So instead of getting 72 million potential customers over the course of 10 years, we're getting over 80 million potential customers the day we launch on May 24th. Number two, there are no dead spots, really. So from Hokuriku or from Hokkaido down to Kyushu, it's not like you're running into a bunch of San Antonios and Austin where people can't have the service. I mean, every meter that you just saw out there that was small commercial and residential is going to be able to have Ambit Energy. On top of that, we're offering a guaranteed savings plan over here, promising that people will save money in addition to a satisfaction guarantee. Okay, so globally, you look at Ambit Energy as a whole, we've done some pretty incredible things. Over $1 billion in revenue inside of 7 years, over 1 million happy customers inside of 7 years, executing in what's going to be the greatest redistribution of wealth we ever see in our lifetimes, or probably even our kids' lifetimes. All right, as this thing shakes out all over the world, but now they've added Japan and doubled our potential footprint. So my recommendation inside of this thing is just to think as simply as you can, but understand this. Ambit Energy is the #1 largest direct seller of retail energy in the world. If you are thinking about partnering with a company to distribute electricity and natural gas to your friends, family, business associates, and people that you know, you need to choose the company that is doing it the best with the highest integrity, that is the largest direct seller of retail energy in the world, and that is Ambit Energy. So #1, you found the right company if you think this electricity thing is interesting. #2, understand that as of May 24th, when we launch this thing, there are over 150 million of these things floating around out there in the universe. Ambit Energy gives us the opportunity to build a distribution network of entrepreneurs who each go and gather a handful of loyal customers, make a simple conversion on an energy bill, and get paid for it as long as those people continue to pay their power bill. And how easy is it to become a customer? You see this number on the bill? It's called a supply point number. And every energy bill in Japan has one of these things. Here's the second one. Okay. This is Kyushu, which is down in the southern part. This is Hokuriku, which is more northern. But guys, these two bills both have the same exact kind of number on them. So becoming an Ambit Energy customer is so simple, a baby could do it, right? Because all you need is this unique number off of their bill. So my recommendation to you is get excited. This thing is absolutely out of control, and there are a few reasons why Ambit Energy works. Number one, it's a service, not a product. We don't have to convince anybody that electricity is a good idea. You're not changing anyone's buying habits. They're going to have guaranteed savings in Japan and some of the markets in the United States, and you get to take control of your financial destiny with what I believe is the greatest company in the United States and now internationally in the world today. So with that, guys, my name is Jordan Buckingham. I'm so grateful that you've been here with me today. I'm excited that Sean Cornett has been on with me as well. Hopefully some of this crazy ranting that I've been doing has helped you out. A little bit of the view of Japan was interesting to you, as well as some of our Japanese energy bills that we're about to be converting into Ambit Energy. So just think about it. You want to get paid on some of these? I know I do. So guys, I love you. Thanks for being on. I know a lot of my friends are on here. Appreciate you watching, and I'm going to turn it back to Sean. Sean,